Okay, let's get going this morning. It's 5:14. This is video number 80. And as promised, I'm doing all the problems on the test as carefully as I can. And so let's get to work on this. And this shouldn't be a long video. But I said I wanted to talk about them all seriously. So I'm going to hold up the picture here real close to you. Okay, you see this object here? Imagine it's a birthday cake, and I'm going to cut it where the vertex X is vertically. You get half the cake to take home, I get half the cake to stay. So if you do that, and you open up the cake, and you think about what I'm saying here, is as you open up the cake, as you're splitting it down the middle, you're going to get pentagons. So you're supposed to be able to do that in 8th grade. That's a Common Core question. They like this idea of cutting things. We've mentioned that if you slice vertically with a knife, you slice a cylinder, you get a ellipse. Sort of weird things happen, so I guess they're getting you ready. They asked you one question about prisms and circular objects if you slice them. So they're very interested in having you do that, although there are no immediate consequences in Regents math. But we went over that, and we did introduce the idea to you. So I always think of a birthday cake and think of slicing it into pieces, and you'll get these problems every time. So let's go down to number 25. By the way, the pentagon was the D choice. Most of you probably saw that. Okay, and now let's go on to number 25, where they want you to find the volume of a right cylinder. So we'll write the right cylinder volume formula. And they tell us that the volume is 245. This is just an assignment that we did. Fill in the data that they give you, and they tell you that the radius is 5.5 squared, and they ask you to calculate h. So in preparation for this test, we did that quite a few times. It's obviously a calculator problem. The answer is going to be irrational. Okay, and now I get out of the way so you can see what I did. And when I put that in, this is canceling, only the h is left. Okay, we got plenty of space there, right? And h equals, I'll put it what I got on my calculator here, 2.578. Okay, so that makes the answer automatic. The answer is number 2 for 25. Again, if you were doing your assignments properly, you would have immediately understood that problem. Always pause it, those kids who are trying to come up with all the answers, making sure each one is justified, contacting me if you disagree at any point in time with what I'm doing. And now we go on to number 26, and we've said so many times they love this lateral area thing. Why not? It's a good idea. So we told you that you open it up and you get a rectangle, and this unrolled part here is 2 pi r, and of course the height of the paper is whatever it is. I'm peeling the Campbell soup paper off, and they love that idea. So I'll put the product there, which is the area, or the surface area, the lateral surface area. They fell in love with that word. And now I'll double everybody. So this becomes 2 pi r, 2r, that's r doubled, right? And the double of h is 2h. I'll put that on the top, and I have 2 pi r, 2r, 2h. So I can get a ratio, because what happens to the area? Does it double? Does it triple? Does it increase 8 times? What's going on? The r's, the h's cancel. 2 times 2 is left, and we end up with a 4-to-1 ratio, which means quadruple. High school kids should be able to understand that question. Completely reasonable question. Okay, again, you can always pause, go back, contact me, do whatever you need to do to get this math down. And now we go on, and we're doing number 27. Okay, 27 is nothing more, nothing less than a trick question. They give you a rectangular prism. You can see it here, so I don't actually have to draw it. And they ask you to tell them what the volume is. And so many kids fell into the trap. They wrote 9 times 2 times 2 equals 36. So many assignments and open-ended testings reflected this ignorance of talking about volume is always in feet cubed. In this case, since they're talking feet, so it would be 36 feet cubed. So many kids pick number 1 because it's at 36, but it's a number that we're working on here that reflects the dimension. And I saw that carelessness quite a bit on the test and in the open-ended questions. So the correct answer is obviously 3 for 27. And finally, here we go with the favorite topic, a can. Okay, and it has a diameter of 3. Therefore, the radius is 1.5. Okay, and the height is 4.5. And now you have to take your time here. How much paper will it take to create the label? Well, we discussed it again and again. How much paper will it take to create this rectangle here? And again, we just multiplied 2 pi 1.5. We just did it. There's the circumference, and there's the height. And we look at our answers, and the answers are all to 100th, which means we're counting the pi. So all I have to do is multiply sideways, and I'll do that. 2 pi times 1.5 times 4.5, and out pops 42.41. I remember one of the girls called me and sent me an email of one of the higher functioning kids and said, hey, there's little discrepancies here. And the reason seems to be that we're using the pi button, which is more precise than 3.14, which the Regents testers might be using. So it goes both ways. Anyway, you look at all the different answers, right? And you know that, of course, that the correct answer is number 2. So that finishes off. Let's see how many pages we've done. That should be page 4. Yeah, that finishes off page 4 of the test. And because there's all these surface areas and volume areas and all that, we'll hold off on page 5. We're up to 7 minutes here, and this will get us way deep into the test. Anyway, I hope I explained all these answers correctly. Okay.